Hello everybody, it's Narrative Tarot. I'm here with just like a short video. So this is gonna be a part of my like Saturn series, my sixth house Saturn like chronicles. So I'm gonna just do quickly the book review in parts because I like didn't finish reading it. So I'm gonna read two and then give you one and two and then three and four and then five and then like a wrap up and do it like that. So that's the update on book review. I started doing chapter one. I finished that. I actually enjoyed it. I had to recap it, but that's what I'm going to do because I really don't have any ideas, y'all. But what I wanted to talk about and what I will be continuing to do, because it's just going to be a series for me, is like sixth house kind of stuff. So right now Pluto is in my fifth, it'll be going into my sixth. My moon is in my 12th house, and so like I'm really like anticipating that, as in like I really am scared shitless. But another thing that's happening for me is that my sixth house has Saturn in it now, and so I'm really just like, damn, all this stuff I didn't do, I am gonna have to do. So, I got a job offer. I'm still in school to be a licensed massage therapist, and I'll get more of that later on in the video. Let me just like write it down so I can like remember. But I was offered a job position. It's Mercury retrograde, so like kind of all of the stuff is like filtering in. But surprisingly, I made it up in my mind. Basically, the full moon eclipse, that I was gonna like get a job, and then like 2 days later, after I went for an interview, I got a job. But Mercury retrograde, so it's like emailing back and forth, calling, did this person do this, did this person do that, and then now it's kind of like solidified and coming together, which is a very sixth house thing. So I've been kind of like, am I good enough? Is it gonna work out? How am I gonna do this? Closing out cycles for my last job, and just like doing all of that kind of stuff. I feel like there's a lot of like opening up and releasing that I have to do as far as mental anxiety, performance anxiety, stuff like that. And I'm just like, so I'm just like mentally like, ah. So this new moon like eclipse situation was in my 10th house. My north node technically is in my 4th. So for me, this one didn't feel so great. It wasn't like I felt overly bad or anything like that, but I think I was just quite hyper aware of money and structure, and needing money and needing structure and needing career and things like that. And so sixth house as a series, because I am going to do it, it's going to be in my sixth house for like 3 years. Just the things that I'm learning about the sixth house and the psychology as well. Because one thing that I do actually want to explore, and if you have any book recommendations, please link them down below, or like just write a description of it or a title or the author, and I'll look into it. One of the things that I want to explore astrologically, and then just like on a societal psychological level, is the psychology of work and how work, it's like going in different places. So there's like videos of like, I do not dream of labor, I don't have a dream job, which I understand. And I understand the idea of kind of remote work, people ditching kind of 9 to 5s, they're becoming entrepreneurs, or they're taking more non-conventional educational paths, and therefore like career paths and things like that. And what is that doing as far as your independence and how you see yourself and how it's shifting society. I'm really fascinated by that, but I'm also fascinated by like the social, I won't say social ills, but like societal things such as like universal basic income and a welfare state and stuff like that, and how that fits into work and the psychology of work, and what it's doing or going to do should things be implemented. Not as like a, not an idea of having judgment or anything like that. I'm just genuinely interested in it. And then the other thing is the psychological part of just work. Like, how does it change your psychology? How does it change your brain chemicals? What's released chemically when you work? The reason why I say this is that I've had a period in my life for like a year or so where I didn't work. And I can honestly say I'm glad that I was able to live at home, but it did something to my mental health. And so I kind of want to explore what it means to work, because there's a lot of things that come up with that. We're kind of leaning towards the idea that work is not meaningless, but that work is something that's oppressive. And maybe that's something that's going to come through Saturn, right? That it's oppressive, that it's something that not should be eliminated altogether, but I'm kind of feeling like with Saturn in there, there's this negative kind of feeling, and I feel the restriction is in I need to get my house in order to thrive. But with Saturn in there, the psychological experiences, right? Let me back up. I see Virgo and Pisces or the 6th house and the 12th house as the axes of experiences. Your psychological experiences and the experiences in your day-to-day life, and they feed off each other. So with this kind of stuff, I'm just really interested in figuring out work, what it means to do work of all kinds. It doesn't matter what industry, things that are considered taboo, what kind of work you do, what does it mean for your place in the world, what does it mean for your stability. But I'm really interested on like the brain chemical part of what it means. I'm interested in questions such as when you make something yourself, when you work to make something yourself, as opposed to something like production, mass production on that scale. How does that influence your brain chemicals when you're kind of artisanally making something as opposed to mass producing it? What is happening to you when you lose a job? What's happening when you get fired from a job? Like, what is happening to your mental state when that is occurring? And I've also been drawn to like lifestyle content, day in the life, how people move around, how people interact in their day-to-day kind of stuff, like very Virgo things, how they handle their accounts, how they handle their business, how they handle stuff. And so I am kind of drawn to like making another YouTube, but it's going to be specifically founded on my like about my my like journey to be a massage therapist, just because the content doesn't fit over here. But I'm really fascinated by work like right now, and not only because I am moving into this space where I'm stabilizing myself and getting ready for my Saturn return, and making sure that like my 5th house has gone through there, Pluto's wrapping up, my 6th house, Saturn's in there, and Pluto's going to be there, longer than that. So I'm really just fascinated with how other people are experiencing this stuff, how other people are experiencing work, lack thereof, unstable work, work that they're not thrilled about, tasks that they're not thrilled about. How are they integrating? Because my 6th house is in Aquarius as well. How they're integrating like technology, how does that break away from the norms? How is that kind of evolving their life forward? How does work do that? And I think people right now are less inclined to think that work has a huge influence outside of being oppressive. But I think that really after Saturn leaves, that for me personally, I think all of this work that I have to do will actually psychologically open me up. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is that work, I believe, psychologically opens you up, especially when you find it meaningful. But it also opens you up, I think, when you find it to be oppressive to what you really want and what you really need and how you really need to do your work. And then if you are kind of open, you're just, and it's also, you have to admit that it's not serving you or you're not feeling it, regardless, I think, of any like sign. Your sixth house is just how you work. You know, what psychologically benefits you when you work. How do you provide a space where your work benefits you? Either that's through getting, you know, a lot of money or recognition, all of the above. That stuff has just been on my mind. So I'm really curious to what you guys' thoughts are. If you have any books, please let me know and down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, take care.